Two sisters are joining me to share stories of their mother, Betty, who was their greatest inspiration. Betty was even-keeled, and she encouraged her children to follow their passions throughout their life. And it was important to Betty that they always be best of friends. Today, my guests are encouraging women globally to step into their own power, share their experience with one another, take chances, and find their true strength. Prior to 2018, Amy and Nancy Harrington both left high-powered jobs in Hollywood because they were inspired to empower women around the world. They wanted to encourage women to take their first steps. They wanted to create a community to help one another. The Harrington sisters are founders of the Global Passionistas Project Sisterhood and the Power of Passionistas Summit. Plus, they are the hosts of the Passionistas Project podcast. Hello, Amy and Nancy. Welcome to Should Have Listened to My Mother.
Hi, we're so excited to be here.
Yeah, what a treat indeed. And Nancy, how about if we go with you? How about if you just introduce yourself so they can just get familiar with your voice? I know you both sound very much alike, but
yes, we both sound very much alike, so it might be
Nancy.
hard anyway. But I am Nancy Harrington. I'm the oldest of the two of us, but the fourth in line of five Harrington siblings.
And I am
That's
Amy
quite the
Harrington.
legacy.
It is we have quite a family, I have to say. I am so proud of our siblings and all they've accomplished. And I'm Amy Harrington, and I always like to reiterate that I am the youngest of the five Harrington
so
siblings.
am I. I'm the youngest.
It's a good place to be.
How many siblings do you have?
Oh my gosh. I'm the youngest of seven. So there's 6 girls and 1 boy altogether. So it's pretty great. I have a PhD in so many things because I have a slew of people to contact if I have any questions regarding health, love, spirituality, remembrances, memories, medical conditions. I'm very lucky. And the fun of having my sisters and our one brother is pretty great. So,
yeah.
And
funny, we have one brother too.
Yeah. It's remarkable. When I was doing research to speak with you too, I can hear my mom and what she used to say to us for many, many years. And to this day, we pretty much all speak just about every day, if not every other day. So it is worth it for moms to work really hard to get their kids to understand the significance and importance of loving one another. I think that's really very important. And I don't know if moms and parents remember to do that. I don't know. Everyone is so busy. But I have you here with me today to hear about your mom.
Yeah. Yes, our mom used to say to us all the time, your brother and your sisters are your best friends, and they always will be. And remember that. And it was so important to her that we grew up close and that we are still to this day. We don't talk every day, but we text every day. We have a family text thread that's constantly going. So
it's pretty great, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow. I wonder if we had a tally of how many times our parents told us that, how important it is, how significant, right? Oh my gosh. Like over the years.
And just to be loving and kind to each other, like all kids fight. It's inevitable that kids are gonna bicker and do their thing. But our mother was just so aware of how important it was for us to treat each other well, and she just led with such a loving, graceful presence. She was the quintessential mom. She was just warm and loving and forgiving and nurturing, and so she just taught us to love and be loved, and we're so grateful for that every single day.
And did she want to be an art teacher or an artist?
Yeah. Our mom and dad met at art school, and she studied to be an art teacher. Dad wanted to be a cartoonist, but he ended up in the advertising agency business, and he started his own business. And mom had kids and didn't become an art teacher, although she was a substitute teacher at our Catholic school. Whenever there was a sick teacher, our mom would come and fill in for the day. So she did get a little,
And she taught you guys.
and
She
she taught
inspired
us
you to
so
be
much.
creatives.
Yeah.
She was a true teacher. I mean, with a phrase we quote often is our mother would constantly say, "What you should do is," and she would be able to teach someone how to do something, whether she knew how to do it or not. She taught me how to swim, and she never swam. She could teach you how to do anything, even if she didn't really know how to do it. So here's a
Before
good
Google, before YouTube, she
Yeah.
could
I was going to say,
anybody
before the
anything.
internet, she didn't have anybody to
Yeah.
Google her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she did
Wow.
not live to see the internet.
So did you were all born and raised in the Boston area, or
Yeah.
Massachusetts, before moving out to LA? What about your mom? Where does she hail from?
Mom from Boston as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and your dad too?
Mhm.
Dad was from Charlestown. Yeah. So our dad had a really rough childhood. His mom died when he was a baby, and his father was a longshoreman and
Oh,
a bit of an alcohol problem. And our dad was the youngest of 9 kids. And very poor. We only found out after our dad died that his father would lose the apartment all the time because of his drinking and not paying his bills. And so he would have to move all the kids and his new wife around to different places. They ate moldy bread. He had a terrible, terrible childhood. And our mother grew up with the most loving, wonderful parents and a sister and brother. And when our parents met, I think our mom and her family represented everything that our dad didn't have that he always wanted, was just this supportive household and these wonderful people who are always there for him. And so together they just wanted to pass on that importance of the family unit and really building a safe place to grow up and be kids and have fun and be creative and learn. Um, and soak up all the knowledge you could around you. And so I think the combination of their childhoods really was to our ultimate benefit. I'm sorry our dad had to go through that, but it really created this world for us that I don't know we would have had without that shared, the experiences they had.
opposite ends of the spectrum coming together and bringing their shared experiences. Yeah, over the 6 years of doing this podcast, so many young children had to endure a lot of cruelties and unfortunate situations. And somehow they were able to tell me that, mom did the best she could with what she had. And I admire them for getting to that point in their life, because some people have really had a rough road. Either surround ourselves by other women or family members or friends, some group of people, something or organization that can lift us up. And often people are inspired by the mother or the parent that was the most difficult and challenging or abusive, right? They somehow get inspired by a higher power or something, and they turn their life around because of it.
Given the childhood he had, our dad definitely had some issues in his life. And at the time in the 60s and 70s, those things went undiagnosed and no one really talked about it. And our mom really was a shield that protected us when he was having a bad day. And, we didn't know what it was, but we now know he suffered from depression, but we didn't know that back then. So our mom really was this beautiful
A double duty.
us. Yeah.
Wow. She had to do it.
And I do think the common bond that then really filtered down to all of us, that really has been like the driving force of all of our lives, is creativity.
Yeah.
They did meet in art school. They did, connect on being creative people. And we always say it would have been weird for, like, our brother became a bankruptcy attorney later in life, and it was like, an attorney? What? What are you talking about?
Where'd you come from?
Yeah, you were a rock and roll musician. We're creative people, like it would have been weird for us to get like traditional jobs, It's just not who we were raised to be. So,
But maybe it's like creativity and the fluidity of your mom and how her heart and her mind worked that was able to turn challenging situations around, right? To
Absolutely.
move that track of thought
Yeah,
to whether it's distraction or just creating beauty to replace what other emotions could
absolutely.
possibly be moving in. you
Yeah,
know,
absolutely.
all of that wrapped under the title of mom or mother,
Yeah.
it's a lot.
it's a lot.
So how
Yeah.
did your mom have fun? What was the bright side of your mom?
I think if mom were born in a different era, she would have been Indiana Jones. She loved archaeology and discovery. She was the most curious person I've ever known. She was constantly reading. She loved going to museums. Our oldest sister took her on an archaeological dig towards the end of her life, and I don't think I've ever seen her so happy. She was so excited. But she also found joy in the very simple things like going out for an ice cream cone or sitting by the side of a pool and reading a book. So she very easily found joy in her life.
Yeah, and she loved cooking. She was funny. I was thinking today because we're interviewing a chef later today, and I was thinking our mom had Mexican food and Chinese food. Like Chinese food was a staple in our
Wow,
neighborhood,
great.
right? Growing up. Mexican food, we didn't try Mexican food till I was like 18 years old. Sure, so she had Mexican food, but she never had Indian food or Thai food or any of these things now that we can get so easily. And I just thought, God, she would have loved that because she had these international
Oh.
cookbooks. And when it was, she loved Julia Child. And when it was, the French food fondue and crepes were like big in the 70s, like she was all over that. So she
Yeah.
would just love being able to try all these different foods. So cooking and food were a big part. And television, she had the TV on from the time she woke
Oh.
up in the morning till the time she went to bed at night, like tea and that and
What,
got
soap
involved in that
operas or
too.
what was she watching?
She
Oh,
loved a
what was
good
she saying?
mystery and cop shows, and she loved um names
And
escape.
so for hire.
Yeah.
Yeah, she liked cooking
Oh
shows
gosh, what
and
fun.
mysteries. Those were
James
like
Garner, that's the one I was looking for. James Garner was one of her
yeah,
favorites.
Wow.
Yeah,
the Rockford Files.
Rockford Files.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Beretta,
And
those kind of.
was she like, it sounds like she wasn't the kind of mom that would be like, okay, it's your bedtime, you have to go to bed. Was it kind of loosey goosey? Or was there
We were lucky, I think, because we were the youngest. I think she was stricter with the older
okay.
kids, but I think by the time we came around, it was like, yeah, you can stay up for Carol Burnett. Okay.
Yeah, by the time it was me, I was watching Saturday Night Live when I was 9 years old. So I was just up.
There are many advantages to being toward the younger. But
Yeah.
yeah, my older sister definitely had a different relationship with our mom than the rest of us. But that's to be expected too, if you've never been a mom before.
Yeah.
There's
Right.
lots to learn.
And
Yeah.
especially from what year was Beth born? 1955
5.
to
Yeah.
1968, just culturally from 1955 to 1968, having kids in that range of years, like the whole
Yeah, it's a
world
little
had
bit of
changed.
everything.
Yeah.
The whole
Yeah.
world had changed.
Well, I guess are we going to look back at this time period, this era, and say the same thing?
I
Babies
think
being
so.
during COVID and everything.
Right.
And
Yeah.
Wow, good.
technology, like
Yeah.
all of a sudden computers are
Yeah.
able to think
Oh
for
boy.
themselves.
Yeah.
It's just like it's so much change in such a short period of time.
Yeah.
Mm.
If you and I'd like you both to independently answer this question. Did your mom give you any gifts? Not so much material gifts, or what gifts, if any, did she give you?
I think the gift my mother gave me is the gift of uh solace and comfort. And I'm a quiet soul like she is. My mother did not command attention. My mother was very happy being in the shadows and just taking care of people. And I think she passed all of that down to me. I'm very much a nurturer and a caretaker, and I don't like to be in the spotlight. And but I've welcomed all those gifts, and I'm good with all of that. And so yeah, I sometimes I feel badly because I'm a fairly quiet person and I'm very shy, and so in big gatherings I tend to kind of, step into the shadow. And I I realize that my favorite people on the planet are like that. My mother and my grandfather, my two favorite people, were like that too. So I
Very
give
great.
myself the grace to say, like, that's fine. That's just who I am.
Yeah, gotta love who you are, right? Amy, how about you?
I think first and foremost, curiosity. Like our mom just needed the answer to everything in the best possible way, and I'm like that. But also just independence. She, I was the youngest, so I would see all my older siblings with their boyfriends or girlfriends and, getting engaged and settling down. And I was a late bloomer when it came to that stuff. And I was always really frustrated. And she was like, no, 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 you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket.
Oh,
I remember her saying that actually to me. Like, do your thing. Do not worry about anybody else. Do not hitch your wagon to a guy. Do not make your life about that. You have so many dreams. Go out and live them. I mean, she didn't want me to move 3,000 miles away to California, but she was thrilled that I did and that I pursued the career that I wanted to pursue, which was just such a big dream. And to
oh.
be able to do that in her lifetime and for her to get to see like come out and be on the, a Hollywood TV set and see me in action and see the cameras and the stars and everything. Like I would never have
Oh,
done that if she hadn't encouraged me, like, you need to dream big and you need to go for it.
Yeah, she was very
it's pretty
encouraging
amazing.
of all of us to be ourselves. Like she really, I was a punk rocker in high school. I was I was in high school in the 70s, and she didn't bat an eye when I walked down the stairs one day with bright orange hair, and she didn't, care when kids made fun of me because of the clothes I wore. She loved me for who I was, and I think she taught us all to embrace our authentic selves and be proud of who we are.
There actually is I heard you tell a very powerful yet, oh my God, mother, don't do this to me, embarrassing moment with you in the car. Could you share that one with us?
Yes. So speaking of my bright orange hair, I was a punk rocker in high school, and it was not popular at the time. Let's just put it that way. And one day, my mother and I were driving down the street, and it was a beautiful spring day. We had our windows open. There were a bunch of kids my age walking down the side or driving by, and they yelled out the window, "Punk rock sucks." And my mother, who I realize now when I finally did the math, as I got to a certain age, I did the math and I realized that she was probably menopausal because it was very unlike her. This moment was very, very unlike her. She ordinarily would not do this. She slammed on the brakes, she turned the car around, and she followed these kids for probably a couple of miles. And she followed them into the driveway of a house. She parked the car, she got out of the car, and I at this point was mortified, and I literally was on the floor hiding under the dashboard. I was so mortified because I was 16. And she started yelling at them, "Don't you dare talk to my daughter like that. What gives you the right? You don't know anything about her. How do you know?" And she read them the riot act and then marched back to the car and got in the door and slammed the car. And she had the cutest little proud grin on her face for doing that and for standing up for me. And like I said, I was mortified at the time, but it's my favorite memory of my mother. She stood up for me and she showed me that, don't let the bullies get you down. And it was beautiful.
Our
Oh,
mom
how
was super,
wonderful.
super quiet and kind, but when we have a phrase in the family, don't mess with my chickens. And when people mess with her chickens, she did not like it.
Oh my gosh, thank God for menopause, right? See, there are advantages to everything. Oh my goodness. Before we go any further, Amy, You both had these incredible careers in Hollywood, and I want to make sure my listeners understand. Amy, you're at Warner Brothers. You're the VP of post production and special effects, including films that everyone in the whole world pretty much knows about, let alone Star Wars, Harry Potter, Batman, The Matrix, just to mention a few. And Nancy, you did have a theater company in Massachusetts before going to LA, right? And then you worked, you were doing handling advertising for Miramax, is that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So then you say, okay, putting the brakes on, and we want to help women. I know it happened in increments or gradually, but who would like to talk about all that you're doing for Passionista project and the summit and all that kind of wonderful stuff?
Yeah. Yeah. So, after we left those careers, we did have a long and winding path, and we spent a lot of time in those years as celebrity interviewers. So we continued our Hollywood adjacent career for a long time, and we loved doing that, especially because we were interviewing people that we watched together growing up as kids. One day we got to go to Penny Marshall's house and interview Laverne and Shirley, talk about your head exploding. So we had these amazing careers interviewing people, and we wanted to do a podcast. It was, mid 2015, 2016. We're like, everyone's doing podcasts. Let's do a podcast. And we didn't want to do a pop culture podcast, and we didn't know what that was. So we finally figured out it was height of the Me Too movement and the Time's Up movement. And we thought, let's use these skills that we have, you know, nurtured through the years as interviewers to do a podcast and interview women who are following their passions. And so that's where it started. In 2017, we started doing the interviews. We launched the podcast in 2018. And that led us to a Women's Equality Summit, which we do every year. We have one coming up next week. And those were amazing stories because we brought together women to tell their stories on various topics. And then we had roundtable discussions with the storytellers, and they were beautiful conversations. And we focus especially on women from marginalized communities in our summits and in our community. But the summit would happen, and then the conversations would stop, and then next year we'd do it again. So we realized in 2024 that we needed to do something to keep these conversations going and the connections thriving. And so we launched the Sisterhood in 2024 because everybody kept telling us that they wish they had what we have, that the bond that our mother instilled in us. They wanted that. They wanted somebody who had their back and who could help them when they were down and cheer them on when they were winning, and just be there to support them. And so we thought, well, thanks to Betty,
Here we go.
we know how to do that. And so we launched the Passionistas Project Sisterhood in March of 2024. And it's a beautiful, beautiful place where women can come and be their authentic selves and lift each other up and get resources. And it's been thriving. So
I applaud
It's not
you.
just it's not
It's
just
not
business
easy.
network. It's not just business networking. It's also personal growth and social impact. So it's all those things that make our lives complete, and not just a place where you have to go with your business card and be all buttoned up and pretend that everything is
It's
100%
perfect.
in
And
place.
wow, that's great. The emotional support is huge. I mean,
Yeah.
even when I started this podcast, even though decades of radio and broadcasting experience, I was like, okay, social media, editing video. Oh my gosh. And it takes time. But you know what? It also takes that courage to try things new. And that's what I keep telling myself. I'm making strides every day. And I have to cut myself some slack. Before I give out the information about how to contact you, answer this question, and Amy, we'll go to you first. The story of your mom, Betty, is a story of a woman who,
Oh man, who put family above everything else, including herself, and taught her children how to love each other and be good stewards in the world. I mean, our mom always let all the kids who needed a place know that they were safe in our house. So from the time I was little, we had friends who were gay and from different ethnic backgrounds, and who were the kids whose parents were working all night and didn't have a place to go for dinner. And, I think we learned that our lives were richer because we knew all these people, and their lives were richer because they felt accepted. And we have carried that through in what we're doing. So our mother was a loving and caring human being, probably the most loving and caring human being you could ever imagine.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, we're getting emotional here. Oh, how wonderful. Yeah. And Nancy?
I think I would just keep it simple and say our mother was someone who loved unconditionally. She really did, and she's gone too soon. That was
But look at how you're carrying on her messages and
she's with
her
us every
work.
day. Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that yeah, my parents both gone, but man, they are so present. Linda's right here, but yeah, we're lucky. We're so fortunate, and that's why I do this. So people who haven't had similar experiences can get a taste, and it's also oral history of how traditions are passed down. Sometimes it takes that effort, but we know that moms and dads both worked really hard for the most part. So how do we get in touch with you guys? How do we find you? I have info@thepassionista.project.com. Is that correct?
That's right.
Yeah. Okay, and then that's the website. And then you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube, all under the Passionista Project. And boy,
Yeah.
I could just talk to you
Pretty much if you Google Passionistas, you'll find us.
Yeah, we have the passion. Yeah, I know. I feel like we could do a 10-part episode.
Yeah. Well, I just want to say thank you for sharing Betty's story with all of us, all my listeners and myself. And it's a pleasure to meet you, Amy and Nancy Harrington.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing what you're doing. I think moms don't get enough recognition, and it's really beautiful to get to look at our lives through hers. And so I just want to thank you.
Thank you so much. And we'll be back next